Good evening, race fans. Welcome back to the 280 Truck Series. Tonight, we land at Talladega Superspeedway for one of the most grueling and challenging races these drivers will face this season for race number 7. It was a rough week at Kentucky Speedway. Unfortunately, wasn't able to broadcast that one. Hopefully, we'll get a replay up for you soon. But tonight, it's all live action. It's all bumper to bumper. It's all excitement. Here at the home of speed, the biggest track in stock car auto racing. This is Talladega Superspeedway, and this is the 280 Truck Series. Glad to have you back. Let's take a quick look at our standings. Kyle Nadeau still leading at the top of the boards in his number 97 Chevrolet, followed by his teammate Crank Bell. Big shakeup in the standings after the last race. But, yeah, a lot of gainers, couple losers throughout the mix. Up 2 spots, Zach Miller, your lead coordinator in that 38, up to third after a climb through the ranks after the first couple races of the season. Jeff Dotson climbing his way back up there quietly, usually has a nice, quiet race to himself, doesn't make too many mistakes, but that's going to put him up in position number 4. Brandon Torres in that 95 drops 2 spots. He's going to be down in the 5th spot, followed by Sean Sullivan, the top driver from the Puddle Jumper crew. In that number 2 machine, he's sitting number 6 in the standings. Doug Argabright and Greg Burgett. Doug's been rising through the ranks like a rocket. After missing a couple races early in the season, he's making up for lost time, claiming a couple of wins early. He's up to 7th and sharing that position with Greg Burgett in the 31. Caleb Hayes, Daniel Jensen sharing that 9th spot. Caleb also losing a few spots like his teammate Brandon just above. Hopefully they'll see if they can rebound here at Talladega. But the name of the game tonight is survival. You gotta have a plan to survive. If you just wing it, odds are you're going to get caught up in the mess. If you're not tactful and use your teammates and your resources to your advantage, you could end up in the big one. Rounding out the top 12 in points, Alex Wiggins down 4 spots after missing Kentucky Speedway, so he's going to drop through the standings a little bit, followed by Nick Rossi, another Puddle Jumpers machine. That number 22 is up in 12th spot as it stands right now. Well, that's been a look at your driver points. Let's go ahead and take a look at our qualifying order for the evening. All right, up on your screens, our qualifying order. Not sure why first isn't up there, but hopefully we can get that resolved in just a moment. All right, not going to show up first to us for some reason, but on top of the board, it's Devin Maines in that 5 machine, followed by Nick Rossi in the 22. Alan Blue, good qualifying effort there in the 23. He's going to roll off 3rd on that inside second row. Outside second row, it's going to be Kyle Nadeau in the number 97. Jeff Dotson rolls off 5th. 6, Jeremy Horn in the number 13. Ryan Bailey in the number 10 is going to roll off 7th. Ed Sal's strong run at the All-Star race. Didn't quite pan out in his favor, but he's going to roll off 8. Justin Bissett, 9th in that 442. Spencer Smith's going to roll off 10th. Zach Laugen, 11th. Eric Camp rolls off 12 in the number 9. Randall Peasley in the 63. He's going to follow him up in 13th. Zach Miller, 14th. Mike Morkrid, 15th. Barry Knapp, 16th. Jake Doffing, 17th. Dan Jensen, 18th. 19th, Greg Burchett. And that rounds out our field for today. Drivers are gridded and out on the track. We're going to get ready to fire them off here at Talladega. Ready for a lot of action here tonight. We got a few new paint schemes throughout the field. If you recall from a couple weeks ago, that number 5 was purple. It is now silver, gold, white, and black, sporting those U.S. Army Esports colors on the pole. Finally, Nick Rossi still in that Coast Guard machine on the outside. We finally got a paint scheme for Allen in that 3rd spot. Jeremy Horn in that 4th spot. We'll get you a look at his truck in just a moment. There we go, rolling off the number 13. Jeff Dotson, as always, in that number 3. West Virginia Coal.com machine. Number 51, Ed Sals. 442, Justin Bessette, also in the U.S. Army Esports colors. Spencer Smith starting outside him in the number 56. Next row, 24 of Zach Laugen on the inside. And teammate Eric Camp to the outside of the next row with Randall Peasley to the inside, also with a new paint scheme this week. Chick-fil-A machine on the outside. That's going to be Zach Miller, your league runner. And number 46 of Mike Morkert on the inside. Outside, next row, 42, Barry Knapp, Jake Doffing in the 88, Dan Jensen in that Coors Banquet machine, Greg Burchett rounding out the rest of the field in the number 31. Back up front, we're getting ready to go green here at Talladega. Buckle up your seat belts. We are underway. Green flag in the air. Takes about a full lap for these cars to get up to speed. Very underpowered here at Talladega, but the draft is going to make up for it once they get up to speed. It's going to be the 22 out front as that outside row is starting to form a little better as we see Horn go down to the inside. He wants to lead that inside row. Jeremy Horn on point, but the outside row is coming back. Nick Rossi followed closely by Ed Sals. And Alan Blue on that outside row. Lots of shuffling going on. Thinks about going to the outside. 56 drops to the inside. That's Spencer Smith. The teammates starting to get stacked up here on that outside row. We got the 22 and the 9 hooked together. Expect to see more of that throughout the day. There is strength in numbers. As long as you can survive with your teammates, you got a shot at the end. Inside row still showing strong with Sal's out front in the 51, followed by Smith in the 56. Side by side, 2 wide throughout the field. On board with Rossi right now. Up to block that second lane is the 51 and the 56. They're going to shift to the outside and see how that works out for them. We're 3 wide, a few rows back. That's looking like the 42 of Knapp on the leading that outside charge, but that's falling apart. He's probably going to tuck in line in just a moment here. Looking really strong on that outside, even just the 2 of them, the 51 and the 56. Sal's drops to the bottom, leaves to the 56 out there to dry. He sees the momentum on the bottom lane. He's going to take it. 1.5 car length advantage for the inside lane off of 2. Sals leads the inside. Smith still leads the outside. Followed by Rossi. Oh, out of shape a little bit for that outside lane. We got a couple drivers looking to take it 3 wide. They tuck in and stay 2 wide for now. Definitely some eager drivers looking for those runs as they see the opportunities. Stiles and Horn on the inside lane both clear the outside pack as the outside starts to gain momentum back after that shuffle last lap. Down towards turn 1 and the special Talladega Superspeedway start-finish line not centered on the front stretch like most. I'm sure if you're familiar with NASCAR, you are already quite aware of that. But for those who aren't, it's in a little bit different spot this week. Not racing to that center of the front stretch like normal. They are racing to that line just after the tri-oval. Still Sals out front, followed by Horn, followed by Maines. The 56 of Smith, followed by Rossi still on the outside, and third in line back there is going to be Eric Camp. Not too much change in the field right now, side by side, 2 by 2 throughout the field, all the way to the back in this 19-car field. See a couple drivers hanging back there, trying to play a little bit different strategies. See Kyle Nadeau in the back, and Ryan Bailey paired up for a draft back here by themselves. We'll see how that works out for them. Expect to see cautions eventually throughout this race as they get racy. We got 76 laps here today at Talladega, and we just clicked off number 6. A couple other drivers hanging back a little bit, not quite as far back. Dan Jensen just barely hanging on at the end of that draft of the lead pack, and just in front of him is Jake Doffing in the 88. Down to the door of the 13 is the 56 Toyota of Spencer Smith, trying to get that side draft, trying to pack air on the spoiler of the 13 and pull him backwards off the leader, Ed Sals. Spreading out a little bit toward the back of the pack. They might be gearing up for a charge here. We'll see what Zach Miller back there has in mind. Him and a couple of cars starting to lay back just a little bit on that outside lane, which is hurting the front 3, but we'll see what comes of it. They just might be thinking they want to lead this thing for a while, but we'll see. Big ride along on that number 22 machine sitting in 5th place. See how close the action is here for these drivers, what they're dealing with as they're racing this tight in a pack, just inches off the door of the car next to them, and just inches or less off the cars in front of and behind them. So you see a good push on the 56 down the back stretch there. Got to be definitely a little more careful with these trucks than some other vehicles on the iRacing service. The bumpers don't always line up quite so well, so they don't always like to push, especially in the corners. See a few quick shunts here and there on the straightaways. Toward the end, we might see him take a few more chances, but for now, just see pretty laid back pushing, but expect to see that ramp up as they start to take more and more chances as the race wears on. Camp right in line with his teammate, helping him on that outside lane. They're staying pretty even with that inside. Haven't really gained a whole lot of ground, but haven't lost any either. If we see Zach Logan there on the inside, a couple more rows back, maybe looking to get up and work with his teammates a little bit as he's able to. Aerial view of the action gives you an idea of what these drivers are looking for. You see the ebbs and flows of the lanes. You want to follow that momentum. As one lane starts to surge, you want to jump in front of that lane as you're able, or tuck into that lane and ride that to the front. It's a game of cat and mouse, trying to figure out who's got speed, who's getting together at the right times to make those runs, and timing it out to your advantage. See the 56, he's getting left all alone on that outside, no help whatsoever. See the 22 and the 9 drop back and fall right in front of their teammate of the 24, like we just mentioned. Spencer Smith hanging on that outside, surprisingly, really not losing that much ground as a single car. He's side drafting like his life depends on it off this inside lane, trying to keep some kind of momentum going. We'll see if he slides up in front of the outside lane or if he gets hung out in the middle. See the 42 coming on the outside. I don't know if he's looking for a gap on the inside. The 42 looks like he might fall in line. 442 of Bassett, he's going to see that advantage. He sees that outside lane coming, starting to form up, gaining more numbers. And he's going to ride that momentum to the front. Really good push there from Smith. Look at the momentum they get after that push. That's going to drag the 63 at Peasley. He's sniffing that draft behind him. He's going to close up on the bumper of the 56. Look at this outside lane coming. The 5 sees that coming too. He's going to come outside to block. 442 goes to the outside. The 5 is going to get hung in the middle. No help for Devin Maines as Justin Bassett leaves him hanging out to dry, going to the outside and taking the whole pack with him. 3 wide here in the middle of the pack, but it's going to be that 442 of Bassett. He's going to go up and challenge for the lead. Maybe not. A little bit of trouble for that outside lane. Starting to fall apart just a little bit. We saw a couple cars peel off to the inside, trying to get behind that 5. Little scrape of the wall there for the 442. No harm done. Easy day out front so far for Ed Salz. And Jeremy Horn up there in the 13 as well. Single file most of the day so far. As we head to the stripe to begin lap 14 here. 76 total laps here for Talladega. As we see that orange sunset begin to come into play. Bit of a shakeup a little farther back in the pack. We got Devin Maines, on the outside lane. He's got 4 cars behind him, pushing for all they're worth. The number 5 is going to come up and challenge. He's side by side for the 13 for second, but he wants the lead. Side drafting off the 13, trying to get some momentum. There's 5 cars on that outside lane, side by side, door to door now. The 5 and the 51 out front. 42 a nap jumping out of line. Move killed the momentum of the middle lane just a little bit. Maines is going to have to take another shot as the line gets gathered back together. Maines is going to get pushed out front. It's going to be Devin Maines in the 5 to the lead now. Inside lane trailing back just a little bit. The Allen Blue about a car length off the 13 back there, coming back on the straight now. Side by side as they come to the stripe. It looks like it's going to be Maines leading this lap. That's one more championship bonus point in the bag so far. Ed Sal's doing what he has to do. In this league, you actually get 2 bonus points for finishing the race with 0 incidents. So 0 major contact or off-track incidents or other iRacing incident points. He finished the pretty eventful and caution-filled Kentucky race without incidents, so that gained him 2 bonus points there, as well as leading a lap. So he's doing the little things to gain in the point standings. Checking off all those boxes, getting points where he can, as we see the second row bounce off each other. It looks like the 442 got a little bit out of shape there. These trucks rather, handle very differently in the draft. The front end of the trailing car tends to feel very vague because it has little to no downforce on the nose. That lead car, he's got grip for days, but it feels like there's a big dead zone. It feels like the middle 15 to 20 degrees of your steering wheel just does not turn the truck whatsoever if you're the second or third truck in line. It's Sal's back out front for now, but Maine's coming back. He's side drafting. They're going to go to the outside to avoid getting the return side draft. It's going to be maybe the 5 leading that lap. Looks like he might have just got it. 5 and 51 still trading the lead as the entire field is 2 by 2 throughout the pack. 25 seconds back. And losing the main draft is a 97 on Nadeau and the 10 of Bailey. Hoping for a caution, probably to get it back in the mix. Still door-to-door out front, the 5 and 51, the 13, the 442 on the second lane. A stalemate between the 2 lanes of traffic. Nothing moving so far. See the 97 and the 10 both hit pit lane. Maybe playing a little bit of fuel strategy here back in the back. Setting themselves up for the late race. The other thing you really want as a driver here is you want plenty of numbers coming with you to pit lane. You don't want to be the driver who ends up by themselves during a green flag pit cycle. Because what does that mean? You have no draft help. You are all alone while the rest of the field runs in a pack, which is much faster. If you want to know how much faster, looking at the last at speed lap time for Kyle Nadeau, that was a 52:40. Last lap for the leader, Devin Maines, was a 51 flat. So nearly a second and a half slower per lap when you don't have a group of other cars with you. You're a little bit quicker in a twosome, but not quick enough to match the speed of a full pack of trucks. Single file out front, you got the 551 and 13 starting to pull away from the rest of the pack. Is 3 the magic number for optimal speed here at Talladega? Back a little bit. 56 gets turned. Blue gets turned. The 3 of Jeff Dotson. Big wreck here on the backstretch. Peasley piles into Blue on the outside. We see the 46 of Morkrid go spinning. Lots of cars involved. To bring out our first caution of the day. 22 laps in the books. We're going to expect that whole lead pack to come down pit road to get some fuel. That works out just fine for the 97 of Nadeau and the 10 of Bailey. who just made their pit stop, so they can take the wave around if they elect to. Get their lap back under this caution here, the first caution of the day. Devin Maines, your leader right now, followed by Ed Sowles and Jeremy Horn. Apologize for that. All right, of course, under caution, we got to mention our series sponsor. That's 614 Designs, run by our own Zach Miller. If you're looking to get a custom design done here on iRacing for the vehicle of your choice, go ahead and let him know and hit him up either on Instagram at 6.1.4_designs or at Zach D. Miller on the Trading Paints website. And if you head over there to Trading Paints, you can also check out his catalog of paints he's done and uploaded for other drivers as well. And thank him for sponsoring the series and setting this up, of course. Giving all these drivers an outlet to come here and compete. Allow us to watch every single week. Nadeau getting his lap back. Then Bailey waiting to be waved around the pace truck. Good to see him waved at the 1 to go signal. For those of you wondering how this works, if all of the leaders in front of you cycle through and enter the pits during the pit stop, the lap down cars who do not stop to pit, as we saw the 10 pit just before the caution, he does not need to come into pit for fuel and tires, so he's since he is technically now the lead of the pack, but not on the lead lap, he will get waved around the pace truck and will line up at the end of the longest line in the field, but will be placed on the lead lap once again. You know, calamity strikes. A lot of these drivers having to use their fast repair already, so it's going to be a bit of a endurance race. Going to want to be a little more cautious throughout the remainder of tonight's event in order to make it to the finish and be competitive, of course. Like Maines is going to elect to take the inside row on this restart. And I'm just now realizing I forgot my manners. I forgot to introduce myself at the top of the broadcast. I'm Adam LaVox, as always, here for Faster Horses Media, bringing you commentary action here for the 280 Truck Series. Hopefully expanding to a couple more additional leagues through 2025, expanding into some road racing and other disciplines as well. So stay tuned for those. Stay tuned here for some more action here from Talladega Superspeedway as we see the pace truck begin to peel off and head to pit lane. It's going to be Devin Maines leading the inside to the start, followed by with Ed Sals to the outside, leading that outside lane. Green flag in the air. Maines gets out to a big jump. That might come back to hurt him, though. We'll see if the field decides to let him in or not. No, he gets enough of a jump to slide in front of the 51 on that outside lane. He's been hoodwinked by the 51. He jumps to the outside to block the 51 and get in front of that lane. The 51 and the rest of the lane dive to the inside. It's going to be Devin Maines in the 5 falling like a rock until he can find some drafting help. Let's see if the 3 picks him up or not. Looks like he'll do him a kindness and pick him up there on that outside. They're going to form the basis of that outside lane, but other than them, it's single file here on lap 25 as they come through 3 and 4. A lot of drivers sat back there probably trying to bide their time. Again, just a reminder, they're going to have to be a little bit more careful. A lot of these cars had to use their fast repair. And for anyone unfamiliar with the iRacing service, you can set up these events to have a fast repair. So rather than having to wait for the virtual pit crew to physically repair your truck, you get one fast repair in which, after your pit service is done, your car instantly is automatically repaired. Like having those for events like this, just to keep as many trucks, as many competitors as possible still in the field for their enjoyment and ours. Side by side, that outside lane's coming back, starting to form up. You got the 5, the 3, the 42, the 97, who was just a lap down a few laps ago. He's up in the mix now. Still had Sal's out front in the 51. To the outside, Devin Maines and Justin Bissett. Holding on by a car length on the inside lane, still Sal's. Maines 1 car length back on the outside lane. About 5 to 6 cars on the outside lane lined up. 8 to 10 on the inside. Outside lane looking a little iffy. We see Dotson looking to the outside a few times with the number 5, like he might want to take over command of that outside lane if he can get the help to go with him. He's going to go alongside to the outside of the 5 now. The 5's in the middle. It doesn't look like the 3's going to get any help out there, though. Maybe intentional. Might be dropping to the back of the pack to avoid being in any incidents after this restart. Usually the most dangerous part of the race is these restarts. Everybody gets a little more antsy, a little more racy, a little tighter together. Greg Burchett and Alan Blue maybe might have had a pit lane violation or something, or maybe missed their opportunity to come down pit lane, because we see last lap was a 1 minute and 3 second lap. And they are currently a lap down. Mentioned the 97 of Nadeau. He's by himself today. His teammate Craig Bell not in this race this week, unfortunately. If you're out there, hope you're doing all right. Hope to see you again next week. All right, sorry about that. Conferring with our league organizer, looks like some settings might have gotten messed up on the race. Of course, Talladega Superspeedway doesn't feature lights, and our time progression is turned up a little bit too much to where we're going to reach darkness before the conclusion of the race. So currently working in the background to try to address that. Right now, it's still the 551 out front. 5 doesn't have great help there. The 42 is looking to the outside. 51 out front, still followed by Justin Bissett and Devin Maines. Caution's going to come out here at the halfway point. Now, I believe what we're going to do is we are going to jump to another session quick, and we are going to treat this as a halfway break and resume the race in a separate race, technically, with another 33 laps to the finish, so we still get our full mileage. And we will have everybody restart just as they are right now. All right, it'll be just a couple minutes. We got to spin up another server to hopefully finish out the rest of this race.
The race has been created.
There.
It's up.
There it is. Cross.
Yep.
Oh. Okay, thank you.
He just
There
said I
are no
chopped him.
Xbox controllers in here.
What's up, Adam? Okay, how do you see that? Talladega race start and 0. Wait,
Select car unavailable.
it says unavailable.
No, you're good. Oh, Jesus. Hey, Adam, your stream's still accepting audio.
I mean, I don't think any of us are gonna say anything crazy.
I'm also Seamus. That doesn't matter.
I'm saying.
Well, while I've got a captive audience, might as well go ahead and plug one of our league sponsor once again. That's, of course, 614 Designs, run by our own Zach Miller. If you need a custom livery, paint scheme, or otherwise for any iRacing vehicle, to run in your league or in hosted sessions or in official sessions, whatever you like, go ahead and hit him up at those locations you see on your screen there. Instagram 6.1.4_designs and Zach D. Miller on tradingpaints.com. Once again, that's 614 Designs. Hit them up for your custom iRacing paint scheme needs. Come on, Trading Paints, you can do it. I would probably have everyone like just ride the apron or down on the apron, and then as we call people, they can go up onto the track and get in their spots. All right. Ed Sal's inside front row. Justin Bissett outside front row. Devin Maines inside second row. Jeremy Horn outside second row. Barry Knapp inside third row. Eric Camp outside third row. You are inside fourth row. Outside fourth row, Jeff Dotson. Inside fifth row, Rozzi. Outside fifth row, Peasley. Spencer Smith inside sixth row. Nadeau outside sixth row. Jensen inside seventh row. Bailey outside seventh row. Laugen inside eighth row. Doffing outside eighth row. And Burchett inside ninth row. Blue outside ninth row. And Morkrid is last. All right, apologize for the delay, but we're back here at Talladega. Getting the driver order all sorted out here. Hopefully everyone's back where they were before the red flag. But now it's daytime again, thankfully. Entering the Alabama Gang super stretch on the back straightaway. We're going to get this thing underway once again. Ed Sal's going to lead him to the green with Justin Bissett on the outside. Inside second row, it's going to be Devin Maines. Outside of the second row, it's going to be the 13 of Jeremy Horn. 42, Barry Knapp's going to be the inside of third row. The outside of third row is going to be the 9 of Eric Camp. Your league host, Zach Miller, is going to roll off in 7th spot there on that inside of row 4. Outside row 4, that's going to be Jeff Dotson in the 3. Nick Rozzi, one of the puddle jumpers, in the 22. rolling off ninth. 10th place, Randall Peasley in that 63 American Legion Chevrolet, looking mighty fine this week. Spencer Smith in the 56 on the inside of the next row. The outside of him is Kyle Nadeau in the 97. Jan Jensen in the 29 to the inside. Ryan Bailey to his outside. Zach Laugen and Alan Blue in the next row. They're going to roll off 15th and 16th, 17th and 18th, getting their lap back. It's going to be Greg Burchett and Jake Doffing with Mike Morkrid bringing up the rear of the field. But right now, the pace truck is off. We are getting ready to go green once again. Here we go. Green is out. Sal's fires off on the inside. Big shot from the 5 behind. He's going to surge out front. Bissett and the 13 of Horn on the outside, leading that outside charge. Sal still out front, 2x2, 5 lanes deep. The 442 of Bissett's going to lead him on the outside with the 13 of Horn pushing hard behind. Top 6 breakaway, both of them, both lanes side by side up there. As the second pack starts to break off with Camp and Dotson leading the way there. Bissett pulling a slight advantage, half a truck in front of Sal's for now. We'll see if he can hang on to the line and get that extra lap lead point. He's going to surge out front. He's going to do it. The 442 leads a lap at Talladega. Field forming back up now. We're side by side about 8 rows deep now. We got a separate pack forming behind. They're looking to stay out of the mayhem in the front. You see that gold machine, the Coors Banquet Chevrolet of Dan Jensen on the 29 back there leading that group. A good number of them back there. They should be able to catch back up to the main pack when they feel like it. But for right now, they're content to bide their time back there and stay out of trouble. Ooh, a little bit of a bump there in the second row. Maines gets a little bit high on the entry to the corner. Your precision at Talladega definitely. Oh, Maines going to stick it up the inside. Oh, big wreck in the middle. Up front. It's going to be the whole pack involved. Maines, Rossi, Camp, Peasley, Laugen, Dotson, all involved. Stal's your leader involved as well. Not sure what he was thinking with that move to the inside, but a massive, massive wreck. Here only on lap 3 of the second half of our Talladega race. Let's go ahead and take a look at what happened back there. We see 5 sticks it to the inside. Just left hooks the 442, nowhere to go, nothing to do. 442 gets off the ground, gets on the side. Bumper covers flying everywhere. We see the 42 got a piece of it as well. Barry Knapp. Let's go ahead and rewind and see what happened behind to get him involved. Oh, we see the 5 comes back across the track. They're too wide on the outside. Just nowhere for anybody to go. They're all going to pile right into the 5. 42 just gets hooked by Peasley trying to slow down. Peasley into the 22. Just utter mayhem here on lap 3. Several cars almost flipping, but heavy, heavy damage for the 42 and several others. Now Miller with damage, he's going to have to peel off and get that repaired. Both sides of that truck looking pretty rough. We're going to see probably nearly everybody come down pit road here. It's like the 9 made it through clean. Dotson looks pretty clean to me. Beasley somehow clean. He saw him come in contact with 2 trucks, but front end of that Chevrolet is still looking good. Maybe a little left front damage on the 63. He looks like he's going to be content to ride with it. Nick Rossi in 22 got through. Saw him get a little bit sideways, but overall that truck looks clean as well. So most of the puddle jumpers brigade got through unscathed. 24 looks all right. 56 of Smith probably glad to be a little bit farther back in the field than he was earlier, else he might have been right in the middle of that. Same with Bailey and Burchett back here. And 97 got their service. Trucks looking nice again. Several trucks on pit road. Looks like maybe taking standard damage repair. As in not fast repairs, as we saw them take earlier. What that does for us, that's going to shake up the field in a big way. It's going to be Eric Camp out front. Jeff Dotson, Randall Peasley, 22, Nick Rossi, Zach Laugen, Spencer Smith, Ryan Bailey, Greg Burchett, and Mike Morkred. Very different looking top 10 than we've seen for the majority of the day thus far, with the exception of a couple trucks. A big shakeup for the field, potentially big implications for the day. These other trucks having to stay in pretty long for repairs. The Set, Knapp, and Blue all still on pit lane, having their trucks worked on. Like Sal's going to come down again and get some more work done on that truck. Still a little bit of right front damage left on that 51 Chevy. Zach Miller back out. That truck looking much better. Other than the back end, it looks like he's got some substantial rear damage still on his Toyota. The Set coming back out. That truck's looking pretty clean too. Unfortunate, we see most of the right front of Alan Blue's truck completely missing. We're going to get the 1 to go signal. Lights are out on the pace truck. We're going to get ready to send them once again. At the biggest oval track in stock car racing. This could be a good day for some of these guys. A lot of these drivers looking to make up some ground in the points, whether it be from troubled races or just not able to make some. I know everybody here just everyone's got lives. Sometimes you miss a race, can't help it. Do give the drivers a freebie that they use. That doesn't count against their points. Everyone gets to drop a race. Some of these guys looking to make up for a bad one throughout, but the 9's going to fire off. That's going to be Eric Kemp leading Jeff Dotson, Randall Peasley, and Nick Rossi to the start. Hit through the Geico restart zone. They're going to fire off. Green flag. Camp with a big jump, playing the risky game. He risks getting run over by the pack as they all get formed up in single file. See how it works out. Is Peasley feeling friendly there in second place? No, he's going to jump to the outside in front of the 3. Says, no, give me that lead, thank you very much. But most of the line's going to go to the inside. A few of the cars in the back of the pack start to form up on the outside. Outside starting to gain numbers. Looks about even with the inside now. It's going to be the 63 of Peasley out front. The 9 coming back to the inside. Camp leads Peasley. They're 3 wide now coming to the stripe. See 3 out of the 4 Coast Guard puddle jumpers machines down on the inside. Teammates, the 9, the 24, the 22, making it work there on the inside, keeping that 9 out front. Peasley hanging strong in the middle. He's got good help from Dotson and Jeremy Horn in the 13 as well. Outside lane beginning to fade. 51 Ed Sal's trying to make something work up there. Still some right front damage on that machine. Might be preventing him from being a good lead car due to the aerodynamic disadvantage. Might be seeing a little bit of the same. You see a little bit pushed in, that nose on the 63. Might be hurting him just a little bit and stacking up that outside lane. Still hanging tough though. He's side drafting hard on the 9, trying to keep himself right alongside the 3 and the 13. Good pushers behind. Look at that 5 back there. Expect him to make moves. Never shies the 5. Devin Maines to the outside. He's going to send it 3 wide again, but he's all by himself. No help there. Looks like the 10 might go with him. It's going to be a 4-car length advantage now for the inside lane. The teammates, Camp, Laugen, and Rossi, followed by the 56 of Smith and the 46 of Morkrid, who's out of the race just a short time ago. Back in the mix, cutting it up out front. 5 and the 10 still trying to make it work on the outside. Not quite working. No help. The 10 bails on the 5. He's going to cut to the middle row. Single file throughout most of the field. A couple stragglers still maintaining that middle lane, rather. 5 still refusing to get in line on that inside. He's wanting to keep his options open on the outside, but he continues to fall through the field. That remains now 11th. Single file out front. First side-by-side action comes with the 3. Jeff Dotson on the outside. He's followed by the 13 still, and it looks like the 51 of Ed Sal's might be closing up on them. Going to try his hand as a pusher rather than a leader car. Third car in line, very important in super speedway racing. That's taking the air off the spoiler of the second car and allowing that second car to overcome the air bubble that forms between the first 2 cars and allow him to close right up on the back spoiler of the lead car in the group and give him a physical shove down the straightaways. See 2 cars together, most often they're not actually touching. There's a little bit of an air pocket that you have to overcome to make contact with the car in front. And that third car in line helps the second car to accomplish that. Outside lane starting to form up again. Maines joins up behind Sal's. Several others with him back there. 6 rows deep, side by side. It's going to be the 3 of Dotson out front on the backstretch. Little bobble, a little bit of separation for that inside line. The 22 falling off the lead 2 cars just a little bit. Could see the outside lane surge back here a little bit as we do see Jeff Dotson coming back around the 9. He's going to lead lap 12. Technically lap 46, if we want to be specific. A little bit of a bobble. That 5 is getting racy on the outside again, but that's going to hurt that middle lane, leaving a big gap there between the 3rd and 5th cars in line. Just when Dotson gets to the front, half his help fades away. Two by two for the first 2 lanes, but it's 3 wide from the 3rd lane on back. Gonna be Dotson still holding strong on that middle lane. He's gonna lead lap 13 as well as we come across the line to begin lap 14. He's clear by a car length in that middle lane. The 9's coming back on the inside with help from his teammates, though. Not good news for them. A little bit of a flashing episode. Internet connection issues for the 9. Hopefully that won't affect his drafting ability. The ability for his teammates to push him out front. Ooh, bit of a bobble there from Morkford in the 46 out back. He gathers it up, though. The base of maneuvers for several cars back there. That splits up that group. Still the 9 of Camp out front. Dotson coming back on the outside, though. He's got a great shove from the 13 of Horn. Big momentum for that outside lane. They got 5 cars lined up, bumper to bumper, straight as can be at the moment. Should see a good run coming here off turn 4. Dotson's clear. He's going to jump to the inside and attempt to block. He thinks better of it. Goes back to the outside with 13. Gives him another good shove. He's going to stay out front. Making that number 3 West Virginia Coal.com board as wide as possible. He's dicing to the inside and outside. He's going to pick up that inside lane now to try his chances there. That's going to allow the 13 of Horn to go to the lead, followed by Ed Sals. Ed Sals finds himself up front yet again, followed by the 442. 442 is several laps down, or 1 lap down, sorry. So that is not for position there, but he is followed by the 5 of Devin Main, starting to work his way back up front yet again. Morkrid bounces to the outside lane now. He's going to look for some momentum out there and hopefully work his way towards the front of the pack. Talladega, one of the spectacles here of stock car racing. This and Daytona, the 2 big super speedways on the NASCAR schedule. Running just one of these races this season here in the 280 Truck Series, so this is going to be a bit of a special treat for us. And a unique race. And an advantage for those drivers who are good at playing the draft game. Speaking of such drivers, we see that number 5, Devin Mains, go nearly out front, but it's going to be Ed Sals. He's going to push that 40-42 out front. If he can't be a lead car, he'll just be the lead car in the 2nd spot in line. That 442 is still a lap down. Well, not now. He's pushing him to the lead lap, so technically, 442 as it stands back on the lead lap by inches. 2 by 2, the 5 and the 63 starting to fade on the outside. Help falling apart just a little bit. They're 3 car lengths behind the inside lane leader. of Justin Bissett, followed by Ed Salz, who is the actual leader. Bissett fades to the outside. He's going to lead that outside lane now as we see Morkrid get in the fence, entering one. Sal's trying to be out front again. Not sure how that's going to work on that 51. We saw him the last time he tried leading the pack. He started to stack everyone up just a little bit with the aero damage on the front of that machine. I think we're seeing the same thing hold true again in the outside lane. Easily 4 cars just blast by that inside line. 51 might have to alter his strategy for the race just a little bit with that knowledge and that little bit of damage to his truck. Work with what he can do with his present condition. 3 wide for second place out front. Of course, Maine's going to mix it up there. So we see bobbling and weaving all over the place. It's Ryan Bailey in the 10 out front. Followed by the 56, Spencer Smith, Devin Maines, Randall Peasley side by side. Maines has no help on that outside row. He's falling back through the pack as the inside storms by. In through 3 and 4. Most of the field singled out. Single file now. Maines pops out of line once again. Still no help on that outside. Puddle jumper team. All 3 of them peel off the pit lane. They're going to take it. Take this opportunity to head down pit lane for fuel. Unlikely the drivers will take tires on this first stop. Big note of that number. We're coming at lap 21. Looks like there's a few more laps in the tank for some of these guys. Let's see how the field comes to pit road. Like I said, you don't want to be left by yourself under green flag pit stops, or you will lose the draft pack and more than likely end up a lap down. See if there's any more takers this time by. See Morkrid by himself is going to hit pit road. Not ideal, but you do what you can. See the Puddle Jumpers trucks just now exiting pit road. They're entering the backstretch now as the lead pack barrels towards turn 1. Ooh, Maine's nearly in the fence there off the 63. Maine's still trying to make it work by himself. Not a big fan of teamwork, apparently. Just refuses to get in line. Wants to make things work on that outside middle lane by himself. But we've seen it work before. To his credit, they have been successful in getting to the front more than one time already. As we see your leaders hit pit road, that's going to be the rest of the field. Look at the 51 under braking. Gaining 3 spots just under braking. Hopefully didn't gain a speeding penalty coming down pit road. We'll see what happens. What a move on the outside of the pack coming to pit road for the 51. Might even gain him a little bit more time to fix that right front fender. And still come out with the same pack. Right now, out front, Jake Doffing and Dan Jensen staying out, maximizing that fuel strategy. They're going to go another lap. We'll see if they come in this time, lap 23. Maybe they can make it on just one stop on fuel. We'll see. They're going to bypass pit lane once again. They might have been maximizing their fuel savings already. And look at this. They're closing up on the Puddle Jumpers pack. All 3 Coast Guard machines down to the inside. Oh! Well, the 22. Good job saving it there for Nick Rossi. Big moment there off the nose of the 29. Still first and second, these 2 trucks here, the 88 and the 29. Hopefully they got enough in the tank to go another lap. And the rest of the pack blocking their access to pit lane. We've seen them go 24 laps so far. They are stretching these fuel tanks for all they're worth. Playing the strategy game here at the halfway point in the race. There's always someone in the field trying to be crafty. Looks like this week it's these two, the 88-29. Ooh, big bobble there for Jensen. Nearly gets out of shape. Makes the 10 take evasive maneuvers. A little bit of contact with the 5. Will they come this time? No, they're going to stretch it another lap. They've gone 25 laps. The longest we've seen so far in a fuel run. There we go for one more. That 88's got to be getting a little worse fuel mileage, leading that twosome. What's amazing is we've seen great speed out of these two trucks by themselves, despite there being a whole pack of cars behind them. Obviously, that's not going to last forever. If Jensen's smart, he needs to really block that inside lane to give himself the opportunity to come to pit road when he can. There's the rub. The 88 and 29, they were on pit road for a little bit of damage repair back on lap 4. Remember that first caution of the session? Those two got involved towards the back of the pack, so that allowed them a little extra time, not actually out there running on track, but they were able to get that lap back, and now they should be able to go 5 laps or so farther than the rest of the pack. But fuel's got to be getting tight at this point. This will be 22 laps on track for these two cars. Saw the rest of the field come around the 21 to 22 lap mark. If not this lap, I would expect next lap at the absolute latest. Will we see them come down? Yep, they're going to stretch it one more. Trying to keep some in the tank in case we have a green-white checkered finish. Good idea. Hopefully they don't get caught out with too little fuel, because I imagine that 88's got to be stretching it thin at this point. Single file for this pack of cars. This group of cars behind them still currently a lap down, waiting for these two to peel off the pit lane, and they do. See two of the puddle jumpers trucks coming back in for pit service. That's surprising. Going to hand the lead, though, to Kyle Nadeau. Nadeau, a lap down, just a few laps into the race, got separated from the lead draft pack. Now finds himself out front, followed by the 13 of Horn and 51 of Sal's. Remember, Sal's made up a bunch of spots coming to pit lane. Still looks like retaining a little bit of damage on the front of that 51. Not sure how much repair time he was able to take under that stop. Now the rest of the field's got to hope for a caution at some point. If they want to have a chance of catching this lead group, it's going to be a tall order to get that second pack back up here, led by the 10 of Bailey. You see on the gap on the right side of the leaderboard, they're about another 4 seconds back from this lead pack. Back out on track, Dan Jensen leading currently. Jake Doffing back here in second. With the rest of the lead pack bearing down on them, Jensen's got drafting help from Zach Miller in the 38. But the 88's just going to get railroaded here as the pack goes to the outside lane. They're going to try to hang him out to dry. We'll see what Jensen does. Will Jensen slide out in front? Yes, he will. Is the pack going to pick him up? No, they will not. Jensen gets hung out too. From the front towards the back in a short amount of time. Nadeau still out front. Horton second. Sal's runs third. Alan Blue with a bit of a comeback today so far in that 23. He's going to run fourth at present. Dan Jensen getting back in the draft here, followed by the 88 of Doffing. See Dotson in that 3 in the inside lane back there just a little ways, followed by the 442. Still around a 4-second gap from this pack back to the second pack, led by the 10 of Bailey. Go ahead and jump back there and have a look at this. A little bit of a breakup here. Hopefully these guys can get together and actually work their way forward, make up some ground. I don't think just the two of them are going to be able to make up a whole lot of ground on the lead packs. We see that gap grow to 5 seconds now. 56 is going to join up on the back of them. And Peasley with that front end damage just trying to hang on to this draft. As it stands, the only two drivers we know who have the fuel to go the distance are those two on the outside lane right now. 29 and the 88. They came down a lap 28. Which is going to set them up nicely for the finish. Even if we find ourselves in a green-white checkered situation. Little contact in the second row there between the 88 and the 97. Jensen's going to slide in front of Nadeau's Chevrolet. He's going to cement himself in the lead and bail on the guy who got him there. 88 of Doffing, no help. He's stuck on the outside lane, starting to fall back. Side drafting, trying to keep that momentum going, but still slowly sliding back through the pack. Single file all the way back except for Doffing. Doffing starting to fall, but we have caution out. Yellow flag. Yellow flag comes out here at lap number 35. That's going to be a sigh of relief for a lot of these drivers who weren't sure if they were going to make it, as we see the pace truck drifting on the inside. That is quite interesting. The things you see in the 280 truck series. We just had a pace truck, stock Chevy Silverado, going about 180, drifting on the apron of the racetrack. Slightly more talented than the real-life pace car driver we saw at Phoenix Raceway last week. Our next race, we're going to have, of course, an off week next week. Our next race will be December 5th, and that race will be at the Bristol Motor Speedway for 150 laps. So from the largest track in NASCAR to the smallest, Talladega to Bristol, we'll see a big change of scenery next time we go racing. After that's going to be the Charlotte Motor Speedway. That'll be on December 12th. Right back here on Faster Horses Media, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Season's starting to wind down just a little bit. We're on the back half of the season. This is race number 7 out of our 14 points paying races. 13 points paying races. Thus far, we've seen that 29, Dan Jensen and Jake Doffing making an opportunity out of some adversity. We saw them involved in that lap 3 wreck. Took time to repair on pit lane. That cost them some time, but that was less time on track using fuel. They were able to get back on the lead lap and back up front now with plenty of fuel to spare for the end of the race. The rest of these drivers will be cutting it very close, especially if we have a green-white checkered finish. Which at Talladega, of all tracks, is very, very likely, as absolute pandemonium is likely to ensue in the closing laps of the race, as it always does. Gearing up for a short sprint to the finish. We'll be taking the green with just 11 laps to go. Let's take you through the field. It's going to be Jensen on the inside, Doffing on the outside, Nadeau the inside of the second row, up with Jeremy Horn in the 13. Been running strong all day. On the outside of that row, starting 4th, Devin Maines. Starting 5th on the inside for the number 5, with Jeff Dotson on his outside. Greg Burchett working his way back up through the field. He's running 7th right now. Randall Peasley is running I believe 8th. I might have a truck out of order here. I'm not quite sure. All right, Dan Jensen's gearing up to lead him to the start here as pace truck pulls off. We're looking for that Geico restart zone. Down they come, down towards the front stretch. Bumper to bumper, a bit of a checkup here. In the Geico restart zone, green flag is out. Both lanes a little slow, a little bit of confusion in the back as we get a little scrambled up. Jensen maintaining that lead, but he doesn't have help yet. Nadeau's coming on the inside. Doffing hung out to dry on the outside. 13 bails on Doffing. He slides in behind Nadeau. Both of them follow Dan Jensen and the 29 on the inside. That 5 knows an opportunity to win. He sees it. He's going to jump behind the 88 and make that outside lane he loves so much work. More help for them coming from the back in the form of the 56 and the 10. Make that the 3 car. Closing up on the back of the 5 in the outside lane. I see Ed Sal's back there as well. Pack's starting to get gathered up. Everyone's starting to pick a partner and get ready for the last 10 laps of this race. Through turn 2, still Jensen by 3 on the inside. Outside lane coming strong is the Doffing. Being pushed by Devin Maines. 56 is Smith as well. 10 car Bailey falls off the back of those 3. He's starting to fall back in the outside lane, but those 3 are holding strong on the outside, but it's still Jensen by 1 on the inside lane. Jensen thinking about blocking that outside. He starts to make a move up the middle, but he comes back down onto the nose of Nadeau. Still a 1 car length advantage as the 88 gets to the quarter panel of the 29. Ooh, it's going to be close, but Jensen's going to lead that lap. Doffing coming fast, though. 5 cars now on the outside lane. They're getting momentum, getting lined up, and coming. Still halfway up the quarter panel of the 29 is the 88, but a big shove from Devin Maines for the 88. 88's going to go out front now. Massive momentum in the outside lane. The 88, the 5, the 56, shoving hard on the outside. Advantage to the inside lane on the corner. The inside lane keeping it nice and tidy and tight. 29 of Jensen back out front being pushed by Nadeau and the 13 of Horn. We see Burgett up in the mix in that 5th car in line on the inside. Outside lane starting to stumble. We see a couple cars get out of line, out of sorts. We see a 3rd lane forming back there with the puddle jumpers. I see the 9 and the 24 grouping up back there. We'll see if they'll make a run to the front. 8 laps to go now. The 29 still out front by 3 car lengths over that outside lane. 97 still pushing hard on the back of that Coors Banquet Chevrolet. He's going to jump to the inside now. He decides to make his move with 8 laps to go. The 97 to the outside, followed by the 13 who goes with him. 3 equal lines now, 5 rows deep. We got 3 wide, battle for the lead. This is when things get intense. We're coming down to 7 to go now. As they come across the front stretch, oh, the 13 gets turned off the nose of the 88. Down to the inside, 4 cars involved. Jensen involved. Doesn't look like any damage to the 29, though. We did see the 13 involved. It looks like Camp and Laugen might have just gotten out of the gas, trying to stay out of that. I don't think they were involved. Let's go back here and take a look at what happened. See, the 13 gets out of shape off the nose of the 88. Let's rewind just a little bit and see how that started. Looks like there was just a run there. The 13 wasn't staying in line. Got a little bit to the outside. You see, he was pushing the 97. Got a little bit to the outside, maybe the side draft off the 5, but opened the door, and the 88 stuck his nose in there to make it 4 wide. And the 13 just comes back down. There's nowhere for the 88 to go with 2 cars to his inside. Punches the door of the 29. Doesn't look like any big damage there, though, but we'll see the aftermath here as we see 42 ends up spinning off the nose, I believe, of the 442. Doesn't look like a whole lot of damage in that 13. If you can manage to stay in the lead lap and things sorted out, he might still have a shot at this. Little bit of left front damage, not too much. But the 97 Kyle Nadeau playing the cards right at the right time. Took that bold move around the 29 to the inside to take the lead. Was followed by the 13, who unfortunately got caught up in that accident, but the 97's okay. What he might not think is so okay is he's got the 5 out there to contend with, and we've seen all day the 5 willing to make some bold moves when it comes to advancing position toward the front. Sometimes too bold, but I can't say much on it because here he is in second place at the right time. Would say it doesn't always work, but the results speak for themselves, I suppose. Dan Jensen lost a little bit. Looks like that left front might be pushed in a little bit. Possibly. Not entirely sure. Yeah, we see just on top of the fender. He's pushed in just a little bit on that 29 and maybe a little bit of the front splitter. Right now, the man with the moves, the 97 of Nadeau. Expect the lights to go out on the pace truck this time by. We'll be looking at a 4-lap shootout to the finish next time around. Looking back there, I see some teammates who might link up. I see some Coast Guard colors in the back that are going to be starting real close together. We'll see if the Puddle Jumpers squad can line up and maybe make a charge to the front on the outside lane. They've got 3 cars, and we've seen that can be enough numbers to make a run if they can manage to get together fast enough to start making that charge. I think maybe hearing a little bit of fuel saving out of that 97. Having led several laps now, might be a little bit shorter on fuel than the rest. Lead cars usually got the pedal all the way to the floor, while the cars behind in the draft can usually ride around 80% throttle. You hear them dumping the clutch every now and again. Holding that clutch as pace car pulls off to the side. We're going to get ready to go green here, potentially for the last time. Nadeau's going to lead him to the start. Devin Maines on the outside, Dan Jensen inside row 2, and Spencer Smith starting outside row 2. We'll see who gets the jump as they come to the Geico restart zone. Everybody fires on the green flag. It's going to be a good jump for the 97 and the 29. They're going to pull out front early. Big pileup. We see Alan Blue spinning in the back. Turned almost immediately after they got on the throttle was the 23. Go back and see what kicked off that wreck. All right, the bottom left of your screen, you see the 23 of Alan Blue. We'll see how he gets caught up in an accident here. Looks like Miller goes evasive to the inside of the 24, who got checked up on the restart. No contact yet. Oh, we see the 13 come down onto Miller and just gets turned off his nose. Right into the 23. Didn't see it coming. Nowhere to go. Unfortunate turn of events there. The 13 just not quite clear of Miller before coming down. Might be a spotter issue there. If he's using the iRacing default spotter, doesn't usually call you 4 wide, only says 3 wide, and he didn't know he was 4 wide at the time, more than likely. So expected he had room to move down when he didn't, possibly. Well, if he was short on fuel, that's good news for this 97 truck, because shouldn't have to worry about that anymore. Hopefully we'll get a quick yellow here. And we're going to end up with a green-white checkered finish on our hands. A 2-lap shootout to the finish. Zach Laugen probably loving this too, and looks like he's going to get a lap back this time. Should get the Lucky Dog Award. Let's see if we can jump back to the pivotal moment here for the 97. Riding in line behind the 29. They had pushed their way to the front. And we'll see right here, 97 makes a bold move out of line. The 13 follows him. And they're able to make that pass for the lead that he's held on to ever since. Just after this is when the caution came out, but that was possibly the move of the race for the 97. He was currently your leader here at Talladega Superspeedway, round number 7 of the 280 Truck Series, and your current points leader. bit of a longer caution here. Bear with us. Be allowing a couple of guys to get their trucks repaired properly. Back out on track, expecting to see the 24 get waved around. Maybe not. He's going to line up on the outside. Might have come to pit road and just did not notice. Actually, it looks like it be the 13 that got the lucky dog out of that. Not entirely sure. What I do know is we're going green this time. 97's going to be starting on the inside. Bringing him down to the green. In that Lowe's Cobalt Chevrolet. He's going to lead him to green on the inside. Could be Jensen to the outside. Inside row 2 is going to be Burchett in that 031 machine with Devin Maines on the outside of him in row 2. Row 3 is going to be Spencer Smith with Ed Salz in the 51 on his outside. That's your lineup as they get ready to come down for the green flag. Gonna be 2 to go here at Talladega. All over the bumper of the 97. That 31's laying into it hard. Green flag is out. Nadeau leads with Burchett all over his bumper, getting the early shove out front, but Dan Jensen's going to come back with the 5 pushing on the outside lane. Jensen pushed clear of Nadeau for the lead. Jensen down to the inside in front of Nadeau now. Salz and Maines hooking up on the outside, but it's just the 2 of them. They don't have help. There's 5 cars down the bottom lane with Jensen at the front. Jensen still cleared by 1 car length on the bottom lane with Maines 1 back on the outside. Still just the 2 of Maines and Salz on the outside. Jensen out front. Nadeau second. Burchett third. Burchett gets turned to the fence. Gets Maines. Gets Salz. Big wreck behind the leaders. Massive wreck. We'll see what happened to Burchett here. Burchett got turned off the nose of somebody, it would appear. Might have drifted up into the 5. We'll see. We'll play it in slow motion for you here. Through 3 and 4. No contact yet. Starts to drift up. Drifts up into the nose of the 5. Just gets right hooked into the fence. No fault of the 5 car there. 5 comes down, tries gathering it up, and just barely tags the back of the 51. Oh, big moment for the 88 there, too. 88 gets a piece of it. He gets a nose full of the door of the 5. 4 cars involved in this one. And we'll have to go to another green-white checkered finish, but we got a new leader at this time. Mr. Dan Jensen made the pass before the yellow came out. Although, I believe that could have been our second restart, so we'll see if that counted as our second green-white checkered finish. That might be the race. But we will ride it out and see what comes of it. We'll know the answer if we get the checkered this time by. Barney's still waving the yellow up there, so we should see a Another attempt at a green-white checkered here before the end. We'll see if Jensen can hold him off. Quite a few drivers pitting, trying to patch up those race cars. We see the 9 in the pits. 13, the 5, trying to repair the nose of that race car. Doffing the 88. Laugen and Burchett. Burchett's going to have heavy, heavy damage. Not sure if he'll be able to continue. Laugen's still trying to patch up that front-end damage from a couple cautions ago. Not the day a lot of these drivers hope for. A couple late cautions. Cautions breed cautions. Cliche saying we've all heard, but it always holds true, especially here at Talladega. This may come down to who has battle of the better pusher. We got the 56 back here. We've got the 3 of Dotson. Spencer Smith, we've seen up front throughout the day, as well as the 3. Both very good super speedway drivers. We'll see who has the better push for their respective lane. Now, if I'm them, I don't want to push that driver out front too early. Last couple restarts, what have we seen? Looking back, we've seen the dominant lane push the lead car in that lane out to the front. What does that lead car do? Usually there's a 2-car breakaway. The first car gets clear of the other lane and falls down to that inside lane to lead that lane. We don't see many drivers stay to the outside. So if I'm the second car in line, I don't want to push him quite that far forward if I can help it. Because then I'm stuck on the outside lane by myself, waiting for help. Also taking into account, you see the 63 and the 9 back there, both have front-end damage on their race cars. So maybe taking that into account as well. A little bit of an aerodynamic disadvantage for that outside lane with a couple injured pushers. Fairly heavy damage on the right front of that 9, sticking out a little bit. Peasley's been managing pretty well with the light damage on the front of his truck. He hasn't fully fixed it, but we haven't seen it hurt him too much. He's been mixing it up in the lead pack ever since he got that damage, so not a big deal there, but we'll see if it comes into play here in the final laps. Or will we see someone from the 3rd and 4th row? Maybe we see Peasley lay back a little bit, just enough to be able to duck to the outside and take some cars with him behind. If you're way back in the field, stuck behind a 2-wide group, somebody comes out in front of you to potentially be your ticket to the front. Do you take it, or do you stay in line? We'll find out here. Pace car pulls off the racetrack. 29 of Jensen's going to lead him down. Through the Geico restart zone, green flag in the air. Big jump for Jensen there. No help behind for Jensen or Nadeau. Nadeau's got closer help there. We see Dotson coming behind. Will Dotson go with him? He will. The 3 and the 97 going to link up on the outside, followed by Peasley. 3 cars versus 5 cars on the bottom with Jensen leading. Smith in second. Looks like Bailey third on the bottom row. 9 of Camp switches lanes. He's down to the bottom row now. Nadeau still clawing his way back on the outside. He's 1 car length back from your leader, Jensen, getting a massive shove there from the 56. Nadeau's help falling off the back of him just a little bit, though. Right now, it's just the 3 of Dotson. Peasley not able to keep the pace with that front end damage. Dotson's going to go to the outside. Blocked there by Nadeau. White flag is out last lap. Still the 29 of Jensen. The 9 gets turned down to the apron. Back in front of the pack. White flag is out, so next flag will end the race. Still racing for now. No caution. Side by side, door to door down the Alabama Gang super stretch. It's going to be Jensen right now. Nadeau alongside. Big shove from the 56 and the 10 to Jensen. We'll see if they poke their way out of line. The 56 has an opportunity. He's clear of the outside lane of Nadeau. The 56, the 29, gonna settle it here on the front stretch. Side by side, 56 has momentum, but that finish line's a long ways away. 29 still to the inside. The 10 goes inside. Dotson spins. 29 spins. Bassett? Did Justin Bassett just steal this race? A couple cautions ago, the 442 was a lap down. I think we just saw the 442 steal the race. Out of nowhere, Justin Bassett. Let's go back and have a look at this. We have to take a look at this. Out of nowhere, we see the wreck. 3 wide here. Bassett survives. He takes it 3 wide to the inside of Nadeau. Gets a side draft off the 56 as the field wrecks behind him. And takes the win at Talladega. What a finish here. 3 wide for the finish. Looks like Kyle Nadeau is going to take second. Third's going to be the 56 of Spencer Smith. What a crazy finish to this race. All right. Well, with that finish, we definitely have to go back, go have some interviews here. We got Spencer Smith, who took 3rd place there at the end. We're going to go ahead and bring him in and get his take on the race. We saw him up front most of the day. All right. Let's see if we can get this rolling here. All right. I think we got Spencer in here. Spencer can hear us. Awesome. Adam LeVox up in the booth here. That was quite the intense finish, and we did not see that coming at all. We saw, I'm sure you probably didn't either. That was very unexpected as far as the 442 set just came out absolutely nowhere. Absolutely. And a little bit of a delay in the race, but that all worked out. I mean, all through the day, we saw you up front dicing it up pretty good. Got caught up in a couple incidents, but really didn't seem to hurt you too much. Did you? Yeah, I can't recall. Did you really even get in any accidents the second half of the race here? Yeah, from the rear, just happened to make the perfect moves to get up through the pack and avoid that massive wreck at the end. But that was a great race for everyone. It was good to see you get back from some early obstacles. Well, from what I'm seeing, it looks like Bailey got fifth. So yeah, good race for all of you all around. We saw Bailey come back he was lapped down really early on in the race. He came back strong and ended up with top 5, as we just said. But overall, a lot better day than it originally started out looking for a lot of guys. I know a couple of those mid-race cautions, especially that big one, lap 3 on the second session, took out a lot of guys, and a lot of guys had damage throughout most of this second session from that. And we saw that affect, especially the outside lane, a couple times. I think we saw. I know Peasley, and I believe I can't remember who else, but there was a couple, maybe 3. Yeah, there's a couple guys in the outside lane. You just saw on the restarts they weren't able to get up to speed as fast as everyone else. Did you happen to run into that at all, where you kind of had to pick and choose who you were decided to push or let push you? Did that come into account in your decisions on making your move toward the end there?
Wanted to try to catch that group. He ended up losing the pack at some point though, but yeah, definitely. He stayed behind and just kind of held my draft for a lot of it and Bailey's draft as well when we were pushing with Demon Mains. But I mean, it's just part of the game, Unfortunately, he couldn't take those repairs. We just didn't have the time for it. Although he could have at the end, but he was pretty close to the top, so he wanted to stay in.
Understandable. It worked out pretty well too. He ended up 4th right in front of Bailey, so overall ended up being really good result for your team. So that should play well into the team point standings.
Yeah, I didn't even see he got 4th there, but now I see it on the relative. But ended up working out pretty well.
Yeah. Anything you do different in the final laps? Are you pretty happy with the choices you made, and it just worked out the way Any
Probably go higher on back on that last turn 3 and 4. I probably should have jumped up as soon as I had space to try to get that extra speed going into that final straight in the tri-oval. But other than that, I think it turned out pretty well at the end. Got 2 green mat checkers. We still have 1 more to go. I thought we might have got one because I thought people were going to wreck earlier in that tri-oval before the checker came out. But
yeah, sure. Well, good
race.
Good result for you. It was a blast to watch. From our perspective here, congrats on a 3rd place finish, and overall really strong day for the team, obviously.
Yep. Thank you very much.
All right, we'll let you go. Thanks for the time.
Yep. Usual.
All right, gonna go ahead and bring in our 2nd place finisher, Kyle Nadeau. Kyle, how you doing after that finish, sir?
Man, I thought I had it, and then the 442 came out of nowhere, and I'm like, damn it. Second. At least I finished the freaking restrictor plate race. Finally, that's good. Nice, good points day to have the points lead since Crank couldn't make it. Yeah, I'm glad to get out of Talladega. I hate this freaking track. The first race, the race yesterday, right before grid, my VR decided to crash, so I had to start from the pits. Almost a pit and win, but I'll take second.
Yeah, definitely surprise for you as far as seeing the 442 come up the inside, but it was a surprise for us too because he came out of absolutely nowhere at the very end. I don't know how he got through, managed to stay out of that massive wreck off of 4, but somehow managed to survive that, and took us all by surprise because I myself, and I'm sure a lot of the viewers, thought that you had it in the bag because we saw you had momentum on the outside, and it just seemed to be carrying, and We saw 56. Spencer didn't have the momentum to get by, and they were separated enough that it didn't look like side drafting was gonna be too much of a factor. But then we just saw the 442 plow it up the middle. But overall, I mean, strong showing for you, and I guess for the team as well. Even though Crank wasn't here today, you still taking home a solid points day, and building on that points lead that you have. So how you feeling about that?
Pretty good. I think we're going to Bristol next. So yeah,
That's
we go
correct.
from yeah. I'm way more excited about Bristol than I am about this place. I'm glad to get out of Talladega. But yeah, no, I'm excited for the next. Well, pretty much right now to the end of the season. I think the schedule kind of lines up best for me this way with Bristol and Richmond, and then Charlotte, Old Texas, and Homestead. I believe it is. So yeah, I'm feeling good about a second place at Talladega. That's pretty good.
Now, going into today, did you have any set strategy you were looking to do? I know you were kind of by yourself. You didn't really have any teammates to work with. Did you have a certain approach? Were you trying to lay back? Were you trying to be more aggressive? I know you got a lap down pretty early on, and that kind of set you back for a while. But what was your plan going into the day, and how did that compare to how it ended?
Survive. That's the only plan you can have at these tracks is just survive. Yeah, I didn't have an official teammate, but I had a bunch of quasi part-time teammates, I guess, with Team Pegasus Racing and Team Ramrod. They're pushing me towards the end there. So thank you to you guys for all the help, and I will try to reciprocate it when I can. I want to thank my girlfriend for allowing me to race on Thursday nights. I missed that one last week, so that was my bad. I love you. She's listening right now. I want to say hi to my parents. I love you guys too. I survived one finally. Maybe I took the monkey and got rid of it. So we'll have to see with the next one. You, Adam, for broadcasting, and everyone for watching the broadcast, the 2-day special, I guess we can call it.
Absolutely. Appreciate you putting on a show for us and showing up pretty much every week and being up here in contention. You're definitely putting the or setting the bar high for everyone else so far this season. We hope to see that success continue for you, and wish you good luck in Bristol, and of course a good Thanksgiving holiday coming up.
Oh well, since I'm Canadian, it's just a regular Thursday for me.
That's fair. I realized it as I was saying it.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to
Happy belated
everyone
Thanksgiving.
else who's American. Yes, thank you. About a month and a half late.
All right. Well, we'll let you go
Back
for
up
the
to
evening.
Bristol.
Thanks for the time, and we'll see you in Bristol.
Thanks. See you, man.
All right. That was Kyle Nadeau. We'll go ahead and get Justin in here. All right, bringing our winner up to the booth. Justin, take us through that last lap for you.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. I got a nose in under the number 9 truck, and he came across my nose, and that caused that wreck right after the white. And then the 22 just latched onto my rear bumper, and I did everything I could to just hold on to it with the speed. And coming off 4, they just fanned out. It was a drag race, and the 22 stuck with me, and I was just looking for open racetrack, so I didn't run over somebody. I knew I was going to wreck at some point. It just happened to be after the line.
Well, you found just enough real estate, got the gap between the leaders, and shot it through the middle and rode that momentum like a missile. That was absolutely amazing seeing you pretty much come from last to first on that just green-white checkered finish, and somehow managed to get through the cartage off of turn 4. That was pretty amazing. We saw you had a very up and down day. We saw you up front early, and you got trapped a lap down for a while and got that lap back, and ended up being set up pretty nicely for the finish, apparently. Like you said, shout out to the 22 for latching onto the back bumper and just shoving for all he was worth. That was pretty awesome to see at the end. Unfortunately, it looks like he got caught up in the in that wreck, but yeah, great day, and flying the flag well for U.S. Army Esports.
Yeah, I mean, that's what got me into this was U.S. Army Esports. I just bought a PC, been on iRacing for 4 months. When I saw the esports team and the community outreach that they do, it was something that really resonated with me as a real life racer of doing something in uniform that I love. And that's what brought me here. The guys on the team, the turned around turbos, a bunch of guys I race with over in the esports community there. Devin, um, we just did Fuji this last weekend as a team. It was really great.
Yeah, it was a good event, and I actually saw you were in the same session as a couple of my teammates as well. So it was good to kind of kept track of your guys' progress throughout the race. You ended up doing a little better than we did, but yeah, definitely cool to see all the guys getting together here through that program and just seeing what comes of it, and the camaraderie and everything that comes from it too. Really good group of guys here, and it's been a joy to have everyone here. I think we've got a pretty good thing going, and hopefully we can keep it going throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be sticking around throughout the rest of the season, trying to make every week work and fly the banner for U.S. Army Esports and turn around turbos. Great group of guys. Seems like a good league too. Everyone likes to try and race clean. Cautions fell my way to get me back on the lead lap and give me a chance. My
Yeah.
heart's still racing.
Well, that's good to hear, because so was pretty much everyone else who was watching too. That was a spectacle to see at the very end. Wasn't quite sure how it was gonna pan out, and it panned out in the least expected way possible, and surprised everybody. And you just love a finish like that, something you can't script. But thanks again for being here with us, and we'll give you the floor for a minute. If there's anyone else you'd like to shout out or thank, go ahead and open up the floor to you. If not, we'll go ahead and let you go for the evening.
No, I just want to say thanks to the teammates, competitors. Without everyone showing up, we wouldn't be able to put on the show. Thanks for the viewers watching, and thanks for you broadcasting for us. Looking forward to seeing what the rest of the season brings on.
All right, next round's gonna be at Bristol. How you feeling about that?
I do a lot of Cars Tour, and right now they're at Bristol, so I actually don't feel too terrible about that.
All right, we like to hear the confidence, and I'm sure that's going to be elevated even more coming hot off a win. So we wish you good luck next week, and hope you have a good Thanksgiving holiday.
Yeah, you as well. Hope it's safe, and deer hunters out there, be safe. Hope you get the big one.
All right, once again, that's your winner, Justin Bissett. Thanks for your time. All right, completely wild finish there at the end. Good to see new faces in victory lane. And that victory and good day overall for turnaround turbos. We saw Ryan Bailey get a good finish as well. Peasley was able to get a pretty good finish. Bissett just barely edging out the 97 and his other teammate Spencer Smith there for the win. So really solid day for them overall. But as we mentioned, next race is going to be December 5th. That's going to be at Bristol. We hope to see you there. I imagine it's going to be equally as exciting in a little bull ring track like Bristol. Like I said, going from the biggest track to the smallest track. Should not be any shortage of action there. And guess what? Next time, if the sun goes down, we got lights. So we won't have to put a pause on the race. Once again, thank you for sticking with us through that little bit of a hiccup. I hope it was worth it seeing that finish. It definitely was for me. And as always, thank you for watching. If you like the stream, go ahead and give it a follow and click that bell to be notified when we go live next time, and that'll help you get to the stream easier. And just thank you for being here with us. Thanks to Zach Miller for putting this group together, and gathering up all the U.S. Army Esports guys and several others for to start this league. It's been an absolute blast for myself to broadcast, and a privilege to be amongst such a good group of people. To those family members and friends watching, thanks for coming and supporting your driver every week, and we hope to see you next Not next week, but next race, December 5th, 9 p.m. at Bristol. But until then, I'm going to let you go for the evening. As always, I've been Adam Lavox here with Faster Horses Racing Media. We'll see you next time.